So happy springtime. May is underway. Today is May the 4th, which a lot of people call Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you, which is something that has been just become so ingrained in popular culture. And I'm remembering back to the release of the first Star Wars movie, which was while I was still in high school. I mean, I was at the very end of high school. I was like weeks left in high school, but that's when that happened. And it's become part of popular culture. May the 4th be with you. The title of the talk today is May I? And when I looked at that, it looked like May 1st, but it's not May 1st, it's May 4th, but that's not what we're talking about anyway. But let's take a second and talk about May 1st, because that's one of those transformational, transitional days. I've mentioned a couple times before the notion of a cross-quarter day. So we all know the solstices and the equinoxes. The winter solstice is our big celebration where we celebrate that this is now the shortest day of the year, the longest night of the year, and from this point on it starts getting lighter and brighter and warmer. And the opposite happens on the summer solstice, and then the spring equinox is where the day and the night are exactly the same length, and the same thing happens in the fall, which is in September. And those are wonderful astronomical things, and we love celebrating the winter solstice because it's been getting cold and dark, and it's really wonderful to get together and have that celebration of light to remind ourselves that the light is coming back. And it's starting to feel like winter at that point. It's been getting colder and colder and colder, but then it spends a while being cold and real winter time. And the cross-quarter day, halfway between the winter solstice and the spring equinox, is February 2nd, which we also call Groundhog Day, which is the day that feels like it is smack dab in the middle of winter. That's the one that feels like wintertime. It's been going on actually for a while, calendar-wise, since the solstice. And then we get to the spring equinox, and that's in the end of March, and it still seems cold. You know, it still seems like spring's not here quite yet. But springtime officially starts, and then we get to the next cross-quarter day, which is May 1st, May Day. The maypole and all the celebrations of springtime and all that goes along with that. And so we just had that cross-quarter day, and I loved living in the Philadelphia area because in the Northeast, the difference between seasons is really pronounced. I lived in Florida for a long time, and it goes from being kind of hot with lots of bugs around and palm trees to really hot with even more bugs around and more palm trees, and it's not that big of a transition. Here though, the snow is gone, the spring is falling, everything is blossoming, and it's obvious that something different is going on. And there are two other cross-quarter days. The one that happens halfway between the fall equinox and the winter solstice is on October 31st, which is Halloween, which is this one feels like fall day. People love to say to me, what about the one that happens between the summer solstice and the fall equinox? And that actually, there's the cross-quarter day is August 1st. It doesn't have an actual name. I mean, there are cultures that have given it a name, but nobody cares because it's time to go to the beach. It's the middle of the summer. Woohoo! We're having a great time. And that kind of explains it. Back to the topic. May I, not May 1st. May I. And may I sounds like a question. May I? Somebody's walking by, the butler's walking by with the butler hors d'oeuvres, and you say, may I? And you take a crab puff or something. And we think of that may I as a question, as a request. And the interesting thing is when we're talking about a spiritual context of may I, of whom or what are we making that request? Are we making a plea to the divine, which, of course, if I say may I to a power, I'm saying it to a power outside of myself. May I have the money to pay the rent? May I have this job? May I please have a good result of the test that the doctor is running? When we're saying may I, and we're talking about an infinite creative power, and we're putting it outside, and the answer could be yes or the answer could be no, we are not in control of the situation. Now, we tend to think that we make things happen. So this teaching tells us that you change your thinking, change your life, your thoughts create your experience, and that's all true. That is all true. But we don't have the ability to force things to happen. And today is Star Wars Day. May the 4th, or the May the Force be with you. And there's a difference between force and power. And there's an interesting nuance. It's not necessarily the way that it was used in the Star Wars movies, because they're talking about that infinite power and they're calling it the Force, and it's a mechanism. But in his book, Power versus Force, David Hawkins is talking about the difference between force, which is when we're trying to jam something through and make it happen, and power, which is where we are standing in the truth of our power and inviting something to happen. And that may I is not, please, oh please, can you give me this goodie that I'm looking for here? But rather it is about getting into alignment with the good that's possible for us. So there's things that we think that we control. And the word think is important there because there's an illusion that we're in control of them, and we like to play along with that. So jobs, oh, well, I'm going to work really hard and I'm going to apply for the job and I'm going to do really well in the interview and I'm going to get myself the job. And we think that we're in control of that. And if we don't get it, then we beat ourselves up, or there's something wrong with the person who was doing the interview, or there's something else happened. And our minds tell us that we're in charge, that we're in control of that. A lot of times it happens in relationships. Oh, if only I had said this to her or that, or I'd done this particular thing in that situation, if I hadn't got into that fight with that particular person, then it would have gone differently. And we think that we're in control. We just get that notion that we're in charge. And we're using force in those situations to make things happen. Our physical fitness. I'm going to make sure that I get to the gym 4 times a week, and I'm going to keep on doing that lifting routine until I can bench press X number of pounds. And taking control of the activities that we have makes something happen. And it works well enough, often enough, that we believe that that's what's actually going on. God bless us. We think that that's what's going on. Same thing, change your thinking, change your life. So we have somewhere between 50 and 70,000 thoughts a day. And we are completely in charge of every thought that we have. Or so we like to think. Listen to your mind. Just the next time that you're being quiet and your mind is wandering, see if you're in charge of where those thoughts are coming from. Did I say that? Well, perhaps it's something that I said a week ago, or yesterday, or in the 70s. So, in a sense, maybe it is mine, but it's not necessarily something that I'm currently choosing or currently active on. So, we can control our thinking to an extent. We can control our fitness to an extent. We can control the job that we have, the job that we do, or the relationships we're in to an extent. And then there are circumstances where we realize that we have no control. And when we have no control and we want something to happen, the thing that we get to do is surrender. We get to let go. Not of the desire for the thing that we want to have, but the thought that we are in charge of it. And then the notion of may I changes completely. It's not, please God, may I have this wonderful job. Please God, may I have this clarity of thought. Please God, may I be able to bench press 310 pounds. There's a Buddhist meditation, and it's wonderful. It's one of the key meditations. It's called Metta, M-E-T-T-A, the Metta meditation, which is also called the loving kindness meditation. And it uses may I. May I be well. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. And the curious thing there is, may I be well. You in control of that? Nope. You can eat well. You can take care of yourself. You can go to the doctor. You can get some exercise. May I be well? It is a gift from the divine. That experience of wellness, of feeling in harmony and balance with our physicality. May I be well. May I be in that sense of balance. That's a gift from the infinite. And we get to surrender the thought that we're in control of it and open to the possibility of it. May I be happy. You may have an idea that there's a thing that you can do that's going to make you happy. But have you ever had the experience of doing something that historically has made you happy, and you do it once and it says that doesn't really do anything, it doesn't change anything for me particularly? Yup. I love Disney World. I love going on the rides at Disney World and having that fun connected experience. I used to go there with my daughter. We lived in Florida. It was one of the great things about living in Florida is that we could just go there for the morning. So I could be happy going to Disney World and having that wonderful, uplifting experience. And on occasion, I have been to Disney World and it was sort of a drag. The pieces didn't fit together. It wasn't great. And it was the same activity, but the happy wasn't there. We're not in control of when happy shows up. If you ask somebody to define what happiness is, it's going to be really difficult because it's very subjective and it changes from moment to moment. If you ask somebody, ask yourself now, what will it take for you to be happy? There might be a circumstance or an experience or some description of what it would take to be happy. And if you were sitting there having just dropped something on your foot and your foot had a huge achy pain, then happy would be my foot feeling okay. Well, congratulations, by the way. If your foot feels okay now, then you meet one of the definitions of happy. Congratulations. And the other one is peaceful. We know what the opposite of peaceful is. We can feel that agitation, that anger, that angst, that energy, whatever it is that's coming up for us that tells us that we're not at peace. There's a disruption, maybe a disruption in the force. But as we are able to surrender the specifics of the circumstances going around and the things that are happening in the world, and choose, may I be well, happy, and peaceful, and set that as our intention and make that be the meditation, may I be well, happy, and peaceful, without defining what it's going to look like. I'll know well, I'll know happy, I'll know peaceful when it shows up. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. And that is not the end of that meditation. That's the first step in loving kindness meditation. Because once I've done that job for myself, may I be well, happy, and peaceful, we open it up a little bit. May I, beloved, may my family members be well, happy, and peaceful. May my loved ones be well, happy, and peaceful. Expand it out a little more. May all of my family members be well, happy, and peaceful. May everybody who lives in my building or my home be well, happy, and peaceful. And as we broaden that out, it becomes a bigger picture, and we become the center point of well, happy, and peaceful. How can you keep expanding it? May my co-workers be well, happy, and peaceful. And allow ourselves to be the center point of that wellness, that happiness, that peacefulness, to be the channel through which that good is flowing. We're not changing anything. We're not going out into the world and forcing anything to happen, but by getting into that mindset of may this experience be well, happy, and peaceful, we are turning from force to power, because that infinite creative power that creates everything is able to create this newness now. And it doesn't have to be in ways that we've defined or described. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. May my coworkers, my colleagues be well, happy, and peaceful. People who are in business. May my competitors be well, happy, and peaceful. And that feels different for somebody who's working at the company versus somebody who owns the company or is in charge of the company. May my adversary or my tormentor be well, happy, and peaceful. How much can you open that up? How much room can you make for well, happy, and peaceful? Because it's the sort of thing that exists in the universe. Well, happy, and peaceful is a thing, an experience, a feeling. And if we're sitting here saying, I should have it, but they shouldn't have it, then what we've got hidden there is the belief that some people shouldn't have it. And guess what happens when we think there are people who don't deserve well, happy, and peaceful? That's right. The law of attraction starts working, and that's the experience that we start having. Well, happy, and peaceful becomes much more elusive. So try that one on, expand it out. May my adversaries be well, happy, and peaceful. May all human beings be well, happy, and peaceful. That's a big population. Where the metta meditation generally ends is may all sentient beings everywhere be well, happy, and peaceful. And I say that, and you might be thinking dolphins and elephants. And they are certainly included. Cats and dogs, absolutely, they're sentient, we can tell. My dog keeps on insisting that he is sentient. He tells me that on a routine basis. If there are beings that exist on other planets, on other dimensions, if they're sentient beings, we're talking about them as well. We're inviting that infinite creative power, that one divine presence, that one limitless love that shares itself as all creation, that's sharing itself as us right now, to share itself in a way that brings wellness, happiness, and peace to all those beings, all those creatures, all those sentient expressions of the One. May I? I'm not asking. I'm allowing. I'm opening to the possibility. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. May you be well, happy, and peaceful. May we all be well, happy, and peaceful. May everyone in our nation be well, happy, and peaceful. May all people in all countries be well, happy, and peaceful. May I? The answer is yes, because you deserve it. So it is.